Days turned into weeks, and the mansion became a sanctuary, not just for Harrison's daughter, but for the boy as well. Each morning, he would arrive with his guitar slung across his back, notebook of lyrics tucked under his arm, and an eager smile that seemed to brighten even the grandest halls. The girl awaited him every day, her small hands tapping impatiently against the armrest of her wheelchair. "Late again," she teased one afternoon, frowning slightly but smiling nonetheless. "Traffic," he muttered with mock seriousness, brushing a lock of hair from his face. "You know how it is in the city." The girl laughed, a sound Harrison realized he could never grow tired of hearing. She leaned forward, her eyes closed as she listened intently. "Just play, please." He strummed the guitar softly, the melody flowing like a gentle river through the sunlit room. Harrison watched quietly from the corner, the warmth of the scene washing over him. The connection between the two children had deepened. It was no longer just music. It was understanding, trust, and hope in its purest form. But not everything could remain untouched by the past. One evening, as dusk fell over the mansion, the boy hesitated at the gate. Harrison noticed the tension in his posture immediately. "Something's wrong," Harrison said, stepping forward. The boy shook his head, trying to smile, but it faltered. It's nothing," he muttered. Harrison didn't buy it. "Talk to me," he insisted gently. The boy sighed, lowering his gaze. "It's him, the man from the street. I thought he wouldn't follow, but he's still out there. He said I owe him, that I can't just leave my past behind." Harrison's jaw tightened. "We'll handle this," he said firmly. "No one will threaten you here, not while I'm around." The girl, sensing the unease, reached out for the boy's hand. "Don't worry," she whispered. "I'm here and so is he," she added, nodding toward Harrison. "You're safe." The boy blinked, the tension in his shoulders easing slightly. I just don't want to lose this. I finally have something real, something good. I don't want it to end." "You won't lose it," Harrison said softly. "I promise you, no one can take this away." That night, Harrison made arrangements. Security cameras were installed around the mansion. Guards were briefed, and a plan was set to ensure the boy could come and go safely. Harrison knew that life had handed the boy nothing, and now that he had a chance to thrive, he would not let fear destroy it. The next day, the boy arrived with renewed confidence. He strummed his guitar as he entered the living room, the girls' laughter greeting him like sunlight piercing through clouds. Harrison observed quietly, allowing the two children their private sanctuary. The boy's melodies became bolder, richer, as if fueled by the reassurance he felt in this place. "You're amazing," the girl whispered once more, her voice tinged with awe. "You're the one who inspires me," the boy replied, his fingers dancing over the strings. "Without you, I wouldn't know why I keep going." Harrison felt a lump in his throat. He had given the boy shelter, resources, and safety, but in truth, he was the one learning from the boy's courage and resilience. It reminded him of the simple, profound truth that money could never buy: love, connection, and the healing power of human kindness. But the calm did not last. One rainy afternoon, a package arrived at the mansion addressed to the boy. It was unmarked, save for a single line scrawled in dark ink. "You can't hide forever." The boy's hands shook as he held it, his face paling. The girl, sensing his fear, reached out instinctively. "What is it?" she asked softly. He hesitated, then opened the package to find a small broken figurine and a folded note inside. His eyes scanned the note, and his breath caught. Harrison moved closer. "It's from him," the boy whispered, his voice barely audible. He knows where I am. He's coming." Harrison's expression hardened. "Then we prepare. You won't face this alone." The girl, her small hand gripping the boy's, said with determination, "We'll face it together." The storm that night mirrored the tension in the mansion. Rain pounded against the windows, wind rattled the doors, and yet inside, the three of them sat close, planning, strategizing, and drawing strength from each other. Harrison realized that protecting the boy, and by extension, his daughter's newfound joy, was now a responsibility he embraced fully. Days passed and the intruder never appeared, but the threat lingered in the boy's mind. Every time he strummed his guitar, a shadow of fear danced behind his eyes. Harrison noticed it and decided it was time for a more permanent solution. "You have a gift," Harrison said one evening as the boy packed up his guitar. "A gift that can change lives. You cannot let fear stop you, and you will not." The boy looked at him, doubt still lingering. "But what if he comes back? What if I fail?" "You won't fail," Harrison said firmly. "I will make sure of it. You just keep singing, keep playing, keep bringing her light. That's your power." The girl, who had been quietly listening, added softly, "And we'll be here, me and him. We won't let anything stop us." The boy blinked, overwhelmed by the warmth and certainty of their words. He had lived a life of instability, of hardship, of people coming and going. But here in this mansion, he found something he had never known: permanence, trust, and love. As weeks passed, the bond between the boy and the girl deepened further. They shared stories, jokes, and dreams. Harrison marveled at how music, which had once seemed like a small escape for the boy, had become the bridge between two worlds, connecting hearts that had almost forgotten how to feel joy. One afternoon, the girl asked quietly, "Do you ever get scared?" The boy looked at her, eyebrows furrowed. "All the time." She tilted her head. "Then why do you keep singing?" "Because," he hesitated, strumming the guitar lightly. "Because I have to, and because someone needs to hear it." The girl smiled, a small, radiant smile. "Then I'll listen. Always." Harrison, watching from the doorway, felt a swell of pride he couldn't explain. He had witnessed countless deals, investments, and acquisitions, but nothing had touched him like this. A boy, a girl, and a song had managed to pierce through layers of armor he hadn't realized he had built. But fate had one more test in store. One rainy evening, as the boy was leaving after a particularly joyous session of music and laughter, the intruder appeared again. This time, he was bolder, stepping onto the driveway, eyes fixed on the boy. "Going somewhere?" he growled, blocking the path. The boy froze, his guitar still in hand. Harrison appeared immediately, moving with decisive calm. "Step aside," he said, voice firm, authoritative. The intruder sneered. "You think you can protect him, billionaire? Money can't fix everything." Harrison's eyes narrowed. "It fixes enough, and right now, it's fixing this." He motioned to the security guards, who stepped forward, confident and unyielding. The boy watched, heart pounding, as the man realized he was outmatched and outnumbered. With a final, threatening glare, he backed away into the shadows, disappearing into the rain-soaked night. The girl's hands shook slightly as she clutched the boy's arm. Are you okay?" she asked, worry lacing her voice. He nodded, swallowing hard. I'm fine. Thanks to you. And him," he said, nodding toward Harrison. Harrison smiled, his eyes warm. "You're safe. For the first time in a long time, you don't have to fear." The boy let out a long breath, finally allowing himself to relax. For the first time in years, he felt something he had almost forgotten: hope. If this story is keeping you on the edge of your seat, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the final chapters. You won't want to miss what happens next.
Days after the intruder's final threat, a calm settled over the mansion. But Harrison could see the boy was still carrying the weight of his past. He spent time quietly with him in the music room, a soft rain tapping against the windows. "You don't have to be afraid anymore," Harrison said gently. "You're safe here. Your music, your talent, it won't be stolen, and neither will your friendship with her." The boy stared at the floor, fingers lightly brushing the guitar strings. I've spent so long running from people, from life, from myself, and now I feel like I'm finally allowed to stop. But it scares me. I'm not used to safety." Harrison nodded knowingly. "That's because safety is a gift, not a guarantee. But you've earned this. You fought hard, and you've brought joy to someone who needed it more than anyone could imagine." The girl rolled into the room quietly, her presence like sunlight spilling into the rain-soaked space. "I missed you," she whispered to the boy. "I missed you too," he replied softly. His eyes met hers, and for a long moment the room was filled with silence, the kind that speaks louder than words. Then he strummed the guitar, playing a melody that was tender, hesitant, yet filled with hope. The girl hummed along, leaning her head slightly toward him, and Harrison watched, tears pricking at the corners of his eyes. "You see?" Harrison said quietly to himself. This is what matters." The boy finished the song, and for the first time, he allowed himself to smile fully, the weight of his past lifting slightly with every note. "You're amazing," the girl said, her small hands holding his. "You've made me happy, really happy." I just sing," the boy said softly, though his chest swelled with pride and emotion. "No," Harrison interjected gently, "you do more than that. You heal hearts. Mine, hers, even your own." The girl tilted her head. "Can we do it together? Always?" The boy nodded, overwhelmed. "Yes, always." Weeks passed, and the boy's life transformed. Harrison arranged for him to receive formal training in music and dance, and to perform publicly under safe circumstances. But more than the opportunities, it was the connection he had formed with the girl, and through her, with Harrison, that changed him most profoundly. One afternoon, the boy and the girl were in the mansion's garden, the sun setting behind them, casting long golden rays across the lawn. The boy strummed his guitar, playing a song he had written specifically for her. It was soft, melodic, filled with the emotion of every hardship he had endured, every fear he had faced, and every hope he now held. The girl listened, eyes closed, her small fingers tapping gently to the rhythm. When the song ended, she reached out and hugged him tightly. You're magic," she whispered. "I told you so." He laughed softly, the sound mingling with the chirping of birds and the rustle of leaves. "Maybe I am," he said, shaking his head, "but only because of you." Harrison stood nearby, watching silently, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment he had never known. His daughter's laughter, her joy, the boy's transformation, none of it could have been bought, but all of it had been nurtured. He realized, with a quiet reverence, that this was the kind of wealth that truly mattered. "You've changed my life," Harrison said, finally breaking the silence. "Both of you. You've reminded me what it means to care, to protect, and to love without limits." The boy looked at him, emotion shimmering in his eyes. I don't even know how to thank you. You saved me, and her too." "You don't need to thank me. Just keep singing. Keep being who you are. That's enough." The girl looked between the two of them, eyes shining. "We can do amazing things together. We can make the world better. We can help others." The boy smiled, the vision of possibility lighting up his face. "Yes," he said firmly, "together we can do anything." Months later, the boy performed publicly for the first time at a charity event organized by Harrison. The girl sat in the front row, her small hands clapping in rhythm with every note. Harrison watched proudly from the side, surrounded by friends, guests, and supporters. But nothing mattered more than the joy radiating from the two children. When the performance ended, the audience erupted in applause. But it was the girl's smile that shone brightest in the boy's eyes. He rushed to her, kneeling beside her wheelchair. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. "I did, and I think they finally understand what I feel when I hear you sing." "You made me believe in myself again," he said, voice breaking slightly, "and I will never forget that." Harrison approached, placing a hand on each of their shoulders. "You've both shown me something incredible," he said, his voice full of pride and emotion. "Courage, hope, and the power of connection. You've reminded me what really matters." The girl laughed softly, a light musical sound that made Harrison feel as if every hardship he had faced melted away. "We're a team," she said confidently. "Yes, a team." From that day on, the mansion was not just a home, it was a place of music, laughter, learning, and hope. The boy thrived under Harrison's guidance, pursuing his talents openly, teaching other children, and spreading joy wherever he went. The girl continued to grow, her confidence and happiness blossoming, inspired by the boy's courage and the love surrounding her. One quiet evening, as Harrison watched them practice a new song together in the garden, he felt a wave of gratitude and awe. Life had brought him to this moment, a homeless boy who sang from the heart, a daughter who could finally feel joy again, and a bond that would last a lifetime. "Thank you," Harrison whispered to the sky, letting the words carry on the wind. "For this gift, for them." The boy strummed the last note of their song, the girl humming softly beside him. Harrison smiled, tears glistening in his eyes. The mansion, once a place of wealth and isolation, now radiated warmth, laughter, and life. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink, Harrison realized something profound. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness, listening, singing, caring, can change lives forever. The boy looked at the girl, her small hand in his, and whispered, "No matter what happens, we'll always have each other." The girl nodded, smiling through tears. "Always." Harrison stepped back, letting them have their moment, feeling more fulfilled than he ever had in all his years of wealth and power. He knew this was the kind of story worth telling, worth sharing, a story of hope, resilience, and the unbreakable power of the human heart. And for those watching this story unfold, Harrison's voice echoed softly in their minds. Remember, kindness can change the world, one heart at a time. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible stories that will inspire and move you. Share this story with someone who needs hope today.